are just cost of regular living is starting to stabilize.
But the rent, like you said, 2-bedroom apartments, like impossible to find. You know, and the 3-bedroom, forget about it. All right, guys, episode 13. We're here at XR Realty. Wow, time is flying. This episode actually is about an XR mid-year market update. We're going to talk about the market a little bit. And I have on my left, he came in the first episode, he's back, Joshua Jones from Loan Depot.
How's it going, everyone?
All right, thanks for being here, buddy.
Love it.
And then on my right, I got John here, my boy, great agent, closing tons of deals, especially lately. You're on fire.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No, thanks for coming. We're gonna just grill Josh right away. We're gonna see what he thinks about the market, what's coming, what's happening, what's been happening the past 6-7. We're in July already.
Yeah.
The last time you were here, you came in January?
Came in January.
Okay.
Came in January, and it's we are in the middle of it.
Okay.
One of the things we have seen now that we're halfway through much higher interest rates versus, early 2022 and obviously 2021 and 2020 is that we're still seeing the demand for people wanting to buy is through the roof.
Yep.
And it's because it's always what is the alternative, right?
Right.
So do you rent for many more years?
Right.
And then the other thing, and then I know these are huge topics we're going to talk about anyway, is you have the housing inventory.
Right.
You're in the very affordable price range of $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. You are seeing, and I know that sounds like a lot, but it's very comparable to what you could pay for rent. You can own for the same.
Yeah.
And so you're
Or even less sometimes.
even less, and you're seeing multiple offers. And,
Correct.
The higher interest rates are not pushing borrowers to wait anymore.
Correct. Because we feel like, John, right? I feel like in the beginning of the year, it slowed down a little bit.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Slowed down.
Yeah.
And then, part of that was just lack of inventory too.
Correct.
Like there was limited coming on.
Correct.
But we all know that spring comes back.
Yep.
So it felt like a more traditional market
Yeah.
than what we've seen with the craziness in the last couple of years.
Even if the rates went up.
Even with the rates going up,
Right, yeah.
I think that everyone had a realization that, there's a tipping point. Rents also increased.
Correct.
So there's been this whole market shift where inflation's setting in the marketplace and people are, have to come to their, at the end of the day, dollars and cents. What makes more sense?
Correct.
Renting, owning.
Correct. It's about numbers, and that's what it comes down to. And we were talking off camera too, like you were saying about Chicago, because you're analyzing you're telling me about the headlines. People read the headlines, they get scared.
I think there's a lot of clickbaity articles that are out there that want to get your attention. It's doomsday in real estate. But honestly, they're talking overarching. They're trying to get your attention.
Correct.
And at the end of the day, Chicago didn't see the inflation, the crazy inflation that some other markets did in different other markets. We got to take those headlines that are more focused national and drill down, read past it, and actually see what data they're pulling. And then talk to your real estate experts too. They're the ones that know the market. They're the ones that go show houses all the time, every week, every night, and they know, they have their pulse on the market. So they can tell you what's actually going on versus what writers are doing. They're not showing the houses.
No, absolutely. They're not showing the houses. They don't have the real feel. And also, out there, even with Chicago, there's a lot of, I feel like, I travel a lot, and every time there's bad press about Chicago. But it's not like that everywhere. Maybe there's little areas that's bad, but it's a great area. It's a great community. Chicago is great.
Absolutely.
The suburbs are great. I think there's a lot of room for more appreciation.
Absolutely.
Compare, for a big city, I feel like we're comparable to New York, to cities like Los Angeles. But there's I don't know, unless, inflation kicks in even more, but their margins, their numbers, you go buy a rental property out there, an investment property, you're betting on appreciation, right?
Yeah, it's not cash flow.
It's not cash flow. Here, you could still find the numbers still could make sense. And
Absolutely.
Cash flow on property. Your cap rate, you could get a good cap rate, right?
Yeah, Midwest real estate is different than the coasts.
Yeah,
And
yes,
and
you
Chicago
got it,
has the
you got it.
benefits of, even though we're in the Midwest, we do have an awesome lake right there.
We do,
Easy
yeah.
to get
Yeah,
to,
yeah, yeah,
such a great asset.
yeah.
I think Chicago's underrated.
I think so, too.
And, you know, people all over the world in these major cities
Yeah.
flocked to COVID havens, which drove up those rates.
Yep.
Or I guess prices. And honestly, I think that Chicago still has a lot of runway in front of them.
I agree. I completely agree.
Let me ask you guys something though. So you guys, myself in a transaction, a lot of times I never get to meet the person face to face. So you guys are showing homes, and John, you brought up COVID. Do you see still, number one, people are working from home, and number two, the reason why they're moving is because they need that full basement where they can make the home office, or they need the extra bedroom, and do you see that as creating more demand and more offers for you guys?
It's doing two things. It's driving more buyers to looking for larger spaces to live in, but also it's impacting the rental market too. Okay. You have people who have disposable income are going for 2-bedroom units because now they want their office. If they're living single, where they could be normal market, it'd be a studio or a 1-bedroom. Now they're soaking up 2 bedrooms. Finding a 2-bedroom unit is nearly impossible. Rents have gone through the roof for those 2 bedrooms. And it's the same thing with the house. You know, you need your separate living space and workspace. And I don't think the work from home is ever going to go away.
Correct. Of course, I think there's going to be a lot of work from home. You know what I mean? Of course, now there's a lot of people back in the office. But the rent, like you said, like 2-bedroom apartments, like impossible to find now. You know, and the 3-bedroom, forget about it. When you get 3 bedrooms and you got to start paying $2,500, then Josh, right? You get a $300,000 loan plus.
You can own, I mean, 300,000 in our area for sure. You can own for that, probably $2,500.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think overall, I think the market is still pretty strong. Yeah. You know what I mean? But the rates, what do you think? What do you think it's gonna, you know, people, that's the question. People gonna ask me, like,
the elephant in the room.
Well, that's the elephant in the room, exactly. Like, you know.
So, like a lot of us, we are, you know, nerds in our industry, right? We just love, I love numbers, I love interest rates, I love what kind of drives and moves interest rates. And we are seeing, as the feds have been increasing interest rates and pushing up our cost of borrowing higher, and also the producers of those goods as well. We're seeing finally car prices level off. Food has leveled off. Yeah. Gas has come down significantly. But even just our regular stuff, our just cost of regular living is starting to stabilize. But there's more work to do.
There's more work, but people, like, you know, I get a lot of questions, right? Everybody's like, oh my God, because of the headlines, right? The crash is coming, 2000, you know, and I've been around, we were around.
Yeah.
John was much younger. He was still playing soccer in the backyard. No, he's good. But we were around 2008, right?
Yes.
And we're around now, 2023, and they're like, is it going to happen? It's another 2008 going to happen. But I don't see it because people make a lot more money.
Yes.
Now versus 2008, right?
Yeah.
The loans are like, you know, you guys are, when you're lending, man, you're going through a lot of...
We're verifying everything.
Everything.
2008 and before.
Yeah.
If you had good enough credit, you didn't need to supply anything. Now it's tax returns, W-2s, pay stubs, bank statements.
Like literally, you could have...
You need to show everything.
Inventing a company, they're not even checking transcripts.
They were checking
IRS.
it.
Yeah,
nothing.
Now they do.
They check everything.
Now they do. So that's a big difference, I think, right there.
It's a huge difference because if you think about how many people went into foreclosure back then, you don't know, or we don't know how many people they didn't have their income verified of those people who went into foreclosure.
Right.
But you can use some form of those numbers. We're not seeing those foreclosure rates today. Foreclosures exist, but they are
exist.
in very acceptable numbers.
But even if they exist, they kind of like, back then in 08, 09, 10, like you get a foreclosure and it stays on the market for 6 months. Now, I've done a couple foreclosures this year, but we got it under contract right away.
Yeah, it sells.
There was multiple there was multiple offers on each foreclosure that I won for my clients. You know what I mean? So that means there's a demand, and they do get a fair market price too. It's not like they're giving it away.
No, absolutely not.
So it's a big difference, I think from 08 to now, where people, if they have the fear, they think like the market is going to crash, but I don't see that happening.
No.
Of course, it could adjust, it could slow down a little bit, right? But then you just take advantage and you buy more or something,
If the higher rates move into our wages, where now companies might have had debt at a certain interest rate, and now they need to refinance that debt, and they have to pay more for the debt, and then it starts putting pressure on what they're paying the employees. Yeah. That's where you could see a leveling off of this market, but a crash, I think, is an overused word, because a crash assumes everything just stops and it plummets. Right. But if everyone has the ability to pay that mortgage, it's that forever old argument. Then is there really a crash, or could it be a slowdown where the market can just, a foreclosure, it's off the market. Another one off the market.
And then it seems like the government actually, they're bad. There's a lot. The economy runs around a lot around real estate.
Yes.
So the government's not going to let it crash. Like even with COVID should have been a crash.
Should have.
But they pumped money in the economy to make sure it didn't crash, right? Like I had files when COVID happened, right? That March when everything shut down, like we probably had like 10 deals fall apart in 2 days.
People just canceled
Just for no reason, I bet on real estate, especially in the United States.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going nowhere, in my opinion. So, and you feel the same. You invest as well.
Yeah.
It looks like,
Yeah, absolutely. And we're helping out a bunch of clients find their next investment too.
Yeah.
Even though rates are high, there's sellers out there that are looking to take advantage of where the market's at today.
Correct.
And you've seen the increase in rents that still make you can still find deals out in today's marketplace.
It still makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And then the rate, that's why you're here. You're always sending their flyers and reminder if they go down to refinance, you could refi, right? It's not like years ago when you had like maybe a loan where there's a penalty to refi.
Yeah, prepayment penalties.
Most of your loans you give, like there's no pre-penalty. You could refi right away, right?
Correct.
Maybe there's a little cost into it, but it's nothing.
It's just planning for the future.
Yeah.
That if the real estate market is tight, you have the new home builders are not building the amount of homes that they would normally build because it's hard for them to forecast what future costs are going to be, and labor.
Yeah, correct. And plus, I heard there's more millennial buyers, like those buyers between 30 to 45 now than ever in the history of America.
They have great earning potential.
Yeah, they're mostly educated. They save money, and now they're like, hey, it's too expensive to rent. Let me go buy. But how many clients do you have? Like, friends that are around your age and they're buying, right?
A bunch. And again, it's those people who are also asking the question.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense to rent.
Correct.
When I can build equity.
Correct.
So I've seen a lot of people looking at condos, townhomes in the city, or, they want to stay close to the city my age. They want to live it up. And that's where they're working too, when they're not working from home.
Yeah.
And to be honest, those condos are great. You can find great deals in some of these buildings where your monthly payment is cheaper than renting.
It's cheaper than renting, yeah. So that's I think that's what it comes down to. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Absolutely. When it's cheaper than renting and you get to own a piece of American dream in a way. But again, you gotta do your numbers, make sure it makes sense. Mm-hmm. I'm just not saying just buy like in California just to appreciation. And you never know, maybe they're doing it right too. Who knows? But here you could literally do your numbers. If the numbers make sense, the margins are there, then it's just really a business transaction. What about, let's do some bold prediction.
All right.
Come on, people want the juice. They don't want they want
So, there are two looming factors that kind of throw off a lot of what us might believe. So the first thing coming ahead is student loans, right?
Okay.
We know those payments are going to be coming out, and I actually looked this up because I wanted to calculate what the average payment would be.
Okay.
But
Nice.
there's almost $1.8 trillion in student loans out there. On average, a month, that's basically $1 billion a month that will be sucked out of the economy.
Okay.
For these people, assuming they're going to be paying the minimum payment on those student loans. Mm-hmm. And so you have that. You have tax increases on a lot of real estate has come up too.
Correct.
So even with all that, there's great demand for real estate. So I can't see the crash thing. Now, in terms of interest rates, if the feds are almost at the point where they've hit their target inflation rate. And so if they hit that target inflation rate, which is of 2 to 2.5%, that typically yields a 30-year fixed of around 3.875 to 5.25 range. And so with that, it'll give a lot of people a lot of relief in the home buying. And so even if there is softness in real estate coming up, that lowering the rates is going to help the market because it
will keep the value.
Yes,
there.
It's going to keep
because
value.
What happens if it slows down, then the rates will go down and the value will stay.
And then it makes it more affordable.
Yeah.
And people are willing to pay more.
Right.
Because there are articles that around the house, how you brought up earlier, like 30 some odd % of our economy is centered around our home.
Yeah.
Contractors,
Absolutely.
landscapers,
so many.
IT,
Right,
you name it, internet.
Exactly. All from selling furniture to appliances to to home
got
people.
it.
So everything's around housing.
Yeah.
Because I remember in between that 08 to 2012, a lot of sector in the economy were down.
Yes.
Because of that. So I feel like it's gonna keep up.
It will.
That's for sure.
It will. I mean.
So what about rates? So I understand about that. We understand it's going to keep up. We have no fear, right? We're betting in real estate. But what about somebody's out there and they're like, you know what? I want to be more strategic. I want to see if the rates are going to go down. Maybe they're fine. They're home, right? They're with their mom and dad. They don't need to move right away. When do you think rates are going to start coming down, or are they going up a little bit more? Like, what do you see? How's the year going to end?
I think the year is going to end either where we're at today, which I'm not a big guy in quoting general rates, but the interest rate market is anywhere between mid to high 6s to low 7s, depending on what's going on. Or we start seeing a little bit dip in the interest rates, November, December. The outlier in our micro economy, and John, you brought this up because we've got to look at even Chicago. Now let's look at our household.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. The bottom line is we have seen, because of inflation, because of interest rates going up, we've seen credit card balances go up.
Yeah.
But that is by design, because they want to put more pressure. And so there's tools for interest rates to come down. If the Feds had interest rates on 0 and we were in inflation, there's no tools anymore.
Correct.
So they had to get off of 0. But we're going to see interest rates stay at this level because you can't do all this work and then for all of a sudden inflation go through the roof. Nothing would logically make sense for that. But I can see we're going to be at this level longer than we intended.
In a way, they've been successful, right? Because when they tried, I remember, let's say they inflated the economy after 2002 all the way to 2008. Then they start increasing rates like crazy because they want to slow it down, but they failed and everything crashed. Now, they kind of did the same thing with COVID, inflated the economy because it's all like a game in a way, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But now they increased the rate, but it's been working. The economy hasn't crashed. People are working. There's jobs. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's demand. doing pretty good. Like this year, I thought I was going to be slower. I tell you the truth.
Still some question marks on the horizon.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
like where, again, Josh brought up the student loan debt.
Okay.
You know, payments don't resume until September 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's assuming that, you know,
Okay.
the current administration doesn't kick the can further.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
They
there-
might.
there's always strings to
Election
pull.
year coming up.
It's been 40 months since someone has made a payment, 3.5 years.
40?
40 months.
Wow.
So people's lifestyle have changed over that 40 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's going to be hard to scale that back. So it's going to be interesting once that actually starts kicking in again, people are making their minimum payments and how that impacts everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that can definitely
Yeah,
damper
a little bit.
inflation
Yeah.
because people are going to be spending less on
Yeah.
goods.
That's true. That's
You got to
true.
cut back somewhere.
That's true.
You're forced to, in a way.
That's true. So actually, I had a question for you. So how do you look into a file that, you know, they have student loans, right?
Yep.
And right now they're not making payments. Like, does it go against your?
So anyone who has student loans, it depends on the loan, but let's just say in general, there are 3 ways you can look at it. 1% of the balance. So if you owed 50 grand, we would count a $500 monthly payment against you. Different loan programs only do a 0.5% of the balance, so that
Okay.
would be a $250 monthly payment.
Even if you're not paying nothing right now.
Even if you're not paying, they know eventually you will be paying, supposedly.
Okay, that's good, though.
And then the last one, which we tend to use on the much larger student loans, people went to grad school, might have 100, 150
Yeah.
out there, is we use the pay as you earn or the income-based repayment. So we just ask them to contact the student loan company and say, if you did an income-based repayment or pay as you earn, what would that payment be? Give me that letter.
Wow.
And that's what we use. But it's dependent on loan program. But a student loan is not viewed like you have 50,000 of credit card debt.
Yeah.
It's completely different, and you shouldn't worry too much about it from a qualification standpoint if you want to buy.
That's why you're, you know, number one lender here. You know, he figures out a way to get the loan
Absolutely.
done, right?
That's the job.
Like I have so many clients that had student loans and they got declined, and then I'm like, wait, just talk with my guy first, please, before you completely call quits. And guess what? He works it out. You know?
It's just knowing that it's like any situation with any client.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like learning your craft, right? They say.
Yeah.
You have knowledge. You know, you're knowledgeable. You learn. You're always learning every day. You're figuring stuff out.
We all learn every day.
And you're going you're going the extra mile. That's what XR stands for. We go for extra mile. You go the extra mile for
Absolutely.
any client. You know, could be working at McDonald's or it could be a doctor that we just closed actually.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. We treat everybody the same.
As long as we can figure it out.
As long as we can figure out.
Absolutely.
And
This industry is tough, but I mean these are people's lives, and everyone at
Correct.
this table takes it very seriously.
Oh my God.
We
Absolutely.
want to make sure that we take care.
Absolutely.
We have families, they have families too, and they have to be treated as such.
Correct. But yeah, my bold prediction myself, going back to that, you had yours, you kind of like had yours. Mine, I'm more worried about on the commercial side, as I feel like there's a lot of rates coming, like you know how you have arms and they come due, right?
Yeah.
They don't have
a lot of
fixed-
maturities on the horizon.
There's a lot of maturity, exactly.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen when you got a refi? You had a 3%, now you're refining at 8%. That could throw off a lot of your margins on whatever. If you had a building or if you have a business and you're paying employees, So
What do you guys see? I mean, you guys do commercial as well. So what do you guys see with your clients with that?
I guess on the residential side, and I speak by personal experience. I had one of my buildings that came due.
Yeah.
And I had a refi, and my refi is 7. I had a 3.8, and now is at 7.2.
Yeah.
True story. But I guess my number still made sense because the rents went up. So I'm okay.
Yeah.
My rents all went up.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how But I'm talking like in maybe like a larger
It's part of the
Scale.
education component too. You got to hire the right team to make sure that they're giving you the right advice. There's so
Yeah.
much advice on the internet
agree.
that
I agree, man.
leverage is great. Well, guess what? You should have used the last 5 years
Yep.
to pay down your loans
Yep.
so that if you do get in a pinch, you can re-amortize your outstanding balance.
It's like he went through 2008. He knows all the way. He's talking like a, that's true. And hey, I love it.
I mean,
you're exactly right.
Otherwise, you're going to have to pay the piper, and you're going to have to come to closing of your loan with money down.
On a refinance.
On a refinance.
Because you never, deleveraged.
Yeah.
Commercial is that residential commercial, and for anyone watching, that's 5 units and five units and above. That seems to be pretty stable, but it's really your little mall areas, your bigger corporate buildings.
Probably that's the one that could. You got to watch out. Because if they're working, let's say let's say, you got a strip center and you have offices, right? And then a bunch of people working from home now. When they adjust,
do you need 20,000 square feet anymore?
Yeah, so those guys could suffer a little bit more, I feel like. Let's see what that's going to impact in the economy. That I don't know. I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Also, with your triple net leases in commercial, with everything inflating, especially taxes.
Yes.
It's those taxes are passed along to the tenants.
Yeah, they are.
The tenants have that burden. That's going to be really sticker shock when some of these assets are reevaluated with all the inflation in the values of these commercial assets.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a tough pill to swallow.
It seems like more and more we talk, I feel like the rates are not going down. Because, you know what I mean? You got to keep the rates like a certain, to keep the inflation.
It's so the Fed has the effect that they want, right?
Yeah,
so when all this corporate debt matures, it should bleed over into the job market.
Okay.
But I feel like people's personal debt is still okay. The credit cards are getting a little out of control, but their personal debt, because even if they want to buy a house, they still have to be within a certain qualifications. And if you're outside it, you're not qualified.
You're not qualified.
If you're inside it, you're qualified.
Yeah.
That's it.
But also people are making a lot more money than they used to.
Yeah.
From like 10, you know what I mean? Like you see it, you know what I mean? We were talking about who's going on strike now? UPS workers?
The rumor is UPS is going on strike next week. And then you have the United Auto Workers Union on strike now because the car companies, Carvana, Tesla, are posting massive earnings, and they want a piece of that.
They want a piece of that.
And so that's going to add more pressure.
Elon Musk cannot keep buying social media companies. He got he needs to share some of it. John, so I know we're touching a lot of topics, a lot of different things, but a lot of people out there, we're kind of like talking a little complicated, in my opinion. Let's talk about the average guy, right?
Sure.
He works 9 to 5, and I could give you a personal experience. My dad, he didn't know about real estate. He never invested. He never watched the news. He never watched a podcast. He had no idea. Comes up to you, say, John, should I still buy? I go to the cafe, I go to the store. People warn me. Oh my God, end of the world. What do you say to those people? What should they still buy, not buy? What's your opinion?
I think it determines on everyone's situation.
Mm-hmm.
And even though that is situational, I think that if you can buy, people that own homes have on average a substantial amount of net worth than people who rent. And that number, I think you have a little bit of home ownership pride. You're trying to save a little bit more in order to keep up with, your HVAC system, your roof.
Yeah.
You never know when things are going to blow out, so you save a little bit more just in case. Save for a rainy day. And, I think if you're able to afford a house, I think it's the perfect investment, and it is an investment because you're not only investing in the community, but where you're going to raise a family, where you're going to be living.
I agree.
Part of a community, truly.
And it doesn't matter when, right? Like it could be anytime, rates up, down, whatever.
Anytime.
Like you should, if numbers make sense, it's worth it. It's kind of like a little savings account, right? In a way.
Exactly.
Like you're paying your house down.
Rates are high today, but you're going to be able to refinance in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh, is there anything that is, you can lock in your fixed rate today for 30 years, but are there any programs that someone's able to utilize right now?
Yeah, right. Just in case the guy never refi, he's not savvy, he just wants the best now and that's it. And he's gonna just
So one of the main things people always talk about is, the first is, I don't have 20% or I don't have a huge down payment. So when you buy a house, you don't need a large down payment. Typically, there's even down payment assistance out there depending on the state you are located in. But typically, 3 to 5% down is really what you need to put down. But again, there's down payment assistance out there. So that's always a huge hurdle, right? People, I don't have enough. That's okay. The other thing is there anything we can do to make our payment more affordable now, right? And so there are programs out there where for the first 1, 2, or potentially 3 years, you can have reduced interest rates.
Wow.
And so it's very attractive now because number one, rates are higher, but number two, when rates come down in the future, you might have never paid that 7% rate ever. You might have paid, 4% for the first year, 5% for the second year, and then rates dropped and you just refinance, you never end up paying that higher rate. So if affordability is an issue or trying to get you into where your real comfort level is, there's ways to do that. So you have to just think, if there's a way, a good team here is going to figure it out.
They'll work it out.
And if there's not, then we're going to give you the advice to get you there. That's it.
Yeah. And we talk by experience too. We'll tell you stuff that we've done in the past. We're all still buying, still investing, still own our properties.
Absolutely.
So it's not like we're selling something that we don't believe in. So I think that's what makes us different.
You got it.
In my opinion. Or also let's talk about I haven't, and this I've done it myself, where maybe when I bought a certain year, I did a low down payment, my rate was really high, but then 5 years goes by, inflation, not inflation, whatever it is, equity increase, and all of a sudden I could refi and get even a better loan program, and all of a sudden I have all this equity.
Correct.
And I'm not anymore the guy who put 4% down, but I'm the guy now with 20% down.
Yes.
On the refi, right?
Yeah. These are investments, John. You brought it up. It's an investment, and if your place appreciates over time, you just have more equity there, and you can use that equity to help you have lower payments, and which is called refinancing. And so,
or not giving the years, right?
Or
how many clients we have, the 30-year, they'll go the same payment.
Yeah.
Let's
say
I want
to do a 25-year.
And not go to 25 or even 15.
You know what's crazy? You could do a 22-year if you wanted. You could do an 18-year if you wanted.
Yeah.
So if you were 7 years in on a loan, you want to do 23 years, you can do a 23-year loan.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point, is that using your asset and using your home, you can improve your financial future. Yeah. And ultimately it's your place. There's never a landlord telling you got to leave.
Yeah. In America, just because I have the experience of international experience, really, buying a property helps you. It's a great tool to really reach financial freedom, goals, save money. It's huge.
Yeah.
Even a person that's not that savvy, not that educated, buying a house could take you to a different level. It really can. And that's something that doesn't happen a lot of places in the world.
Absolutely.
So, But anyways, I could be talking about real estate all day long because I love it so much. And I'm a big promoter, so you're not going to hear nothing negative from me about that.
So I love mortgages. I'm a mortgage junkie.
I know, man.
I know how that is.
How many times I call you random, like, Josh, I got a question, this and that. And it's not even on your file, nothing.
It doesn't matter. It's all about having the right information. If you don't have it, you figure out how to get it.
And that's what we're always learning. Even you, John, you brought up a good point a moment ago. You're studying the market all the time, right? Like you said, we're in a good position now, almost like the worst has passed, right?
Yeah, the dark, stormy clouds, for the most part, are in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily know what's on the horizon.
Yeah.
But, we've made it this far. We made it through a pandemic a few years ago.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Geez. Come on, think about where we were back in 2020. Everyone was freaked out.
Yeah.
There could
we
be worse.
wouldn't be able to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
There would be.
It would have been Zoom.
Yeah.
We're resilient. As a community, we come together, and honestly, things will be great in the future. You got to keep persevering and keep moving forward. And honestly, everything will work out.
Yeah, it's all long term, right?
Exactly.
In the long term, it's fine. Don't panic. If something is not going your way for that moment,
Yeah, don't panic. Surround yourself with the right people that are looking out for your best interests.
Yeah.
And, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine. I love it, man. I love it.
That's beautiful. I love
All right. So, it was great. It was great. It's great having you guys. Great having you.
Yeah.
I like to showcase all my age in the podcast, so I hope to see you more.
Absolutely.
It's hard to get you. You're so busy.
Oh, thanks.
Doing all these sales there, But no, good job. I'm able to buy the coffee then. No, good job.
I'm glad I'm able to help out, Greg.
You welcome. Josh, thanks for coming.
I love it, man.
We'll see. I'm positive you'll be coming, again.
Yes.
So we love always having you here, and you're a great help for XR. You help me and many of my agents, and we appreciate it, man. Thank you.
I appreciate it. You guys are phenomenal to work with. You guys get it. You take care of clients, and that's most important.
Yep. All right, guys. Episode 13, Lucky 13, it's over. See you guys later. Ciao.